deep and full. The waters of my soul longeth after.
Come on and sing that. After you, Yahweh, you Lord, are my heart's desire, and I do love to worship your feet. You alone are my strength and my shield. To Yahweh alone cause my soul to stand still. You alone are my heart's desire, and I belong to worship at your feet.
You're my friend.
You're my friend, and you are my Abba, even though you are my King. I love you more than the other, so much more than anything. You are my strength and my shield. You alone cause my soul to stand still. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship at your feet.
I want you, Yahweh, and
I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You're alone are my strength and my shield. Yahweh alone, you cause my heart to stand still. Yahweh alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship at your feet.
well, you're my friend.
You're my friend, and you are my Abba, even though you are my King. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. Yahweh alone are my strength and my shield. Yahweh alone, you cause my soul to stand still. Yahweh alone are my heart's desire, and at your feet. Come on and lift your hands and Shabbat. Come on in, Shabbat, I greet you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. For all things.
Thank you, Yahweh. First Kings, chapter 18. And it came to pass after many days that the word of Yahweh came to Eliah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the earth. And Eliah went to show himself to Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, who was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared Yahweh greatly, for it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of Yahweh, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50s in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said to Obadiah, Go to the land, and to all the fountains of water, and to all the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass to save the horses and mules alive, so that we do not lose all the beasts. And so they divided the land between them to pass throughout it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was in the path of travel, Eliah met him, and he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Are you that, my master Eliah? And he answered him, I am. Go, tell your master, Eliah is here. And he said, What have I done? How have I sinned that you would deliver your servant to the hand of Ahab to slay me? Yahweh your Elohim lives. There is no nation or kingdom where my master is not sent to seek for you. And when they said, He is not there, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation, so that they found you not. And now you say, Go and tell your master, Eliah is here. And it shall soon come to pass, as soon as I am gone from you, that the Spirit of Yahweh will carry you where I will not know. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find you, he will kill me. But I, your servant, fear Yahweh from my youth. Was it not told to my master what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of Yahweh, how I hid 100 men of Yahweh's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now you say, Go and tell your master, Eliah is here, and he will kill me? And Eliah said, As Yahweh of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I will surely so show myself to him today. And so Obadiah went to meet Ahab, and told him, and Ahab went to meet Eliah. And it came to pass, when Ahab saw Eliah, that Ahab said to him, Are you the one that troubles Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you and your father's house, in that you have forsaken the commandments of Yahweh, and you have followed Baalim. Now, for this reason, send and gather to me all Israel to Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, who eat at Jezebel's table. And so Ahab sent to all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together to Mount Carmel. And Eliah came to all the people and said, How long do you stand between two opinions? If Yahweh is Elohim, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people did not answer him a word. And then Eliah the prophet said to the people, I only remain a prophet of Yahweh, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them for this reason give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And you will call on the name of your Elohim, and I will call on the name of Yahweh. And the Elohim that answers by fire, let him be ruler and judge. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Eliah said to the prophets of Baal, Choose yourself 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, because you are many. And call on the name of your Elohim, but do not put any fire under it. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, called on the name of Baal from morning till noon, saying, O Baal, hear us! But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Eliah mocked them, and said, Cry out! He's not an Elohim. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he's in a journey, or perhaps he's sleeping. Must be wakened. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets, until the blood gushed out on them. And it came to pass, when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Eliah said to all the people, Come near to me. And all the people came near to him. And he repaired the altar of Yahweh that was broken down. And Eliah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of Yahweh came, saying, Israel shall be your name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahweh. And he made a trench around the altar, as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, Fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it upon the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, Do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, Do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. It came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Eliah the prophet came near and said, Yahweh, Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are Elohim in Israel, and that I am your servant, and I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Yahweh, hear me, that this people might know that you are Yahweh, ruler and judge, and that you've turned their heart back again. And then the fire of Yahweh fell, and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahweh, he is the ruler and judge. Yahweh, he's the ruler and judge. And Eliah said to them, Take the prophets of Baal, don't let one of them escape. And they took them. And Eliah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and killed them there. And Eliah said to Ahab, You, get up, eat and drink, for there's a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and drink, and Eliah went to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth, and put his face between his knees, and said to his servant, Go up now, and look toward the sea. And he went up and looked, and said, Nothing. And he said, Go again, 7 times. It came to pass at the 7th time that he said, There's rising up a little cloud out of the sea like a man's hand. And he said, Go up, say to Abraham, Prepare your chariot, get you down, that the rain doesn't stop you. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain, and Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. And the hand of Yahweh was on Eliah, and he girt up his loins and ran in front of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. End of chapter.
Zephaniah, chapter 3. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She did not obey the voice. She received not correction. She did not trust in Yahweh. She did not draw near to her Elohim. Her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones until the next day. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They've done violence to the law. The just Yahweh is in the midst of it. He will not do iniquity. Every morning does he bring his judgment to light. He does not fail, but the unjust know no shame. I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste so that none passes by. Their cities are destroyed so that there is no man, that there is no inhabitant. I said, Surely you will fear me. You will receive instruction, so the dwelling would not be cut off. However, I punished them. But they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Therefore, You wait upon me, says Yahweh, till the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, so that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, all my fierce anger. For all the earth will be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, will bring my offering. In that day will you not be ashamed for all your doings, in which you have transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of you those that rejoice in your pride, and you will no longer be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of you an afflicted and poor people, and they will trust in the name of Yahweh. The remnant of Israel will not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither will a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they will feed and lie down, and none will make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yahweh has taken away your judgments, and he's cast out your enemy, the King of Israel. Yahweh is in the midst of you, and you will not see evil any more. In that day it will be said to Jerusalem, you fear not. To Zion, let not your hands be slack. Yahweh your Elohim in the midst of you is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over you with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over you with singing. I will gather those who are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of you, whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflicts you, and I will save her that halts, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise amongst all the people of the earth when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, says Yahweh. End of chapter.
With the timbrel
Matthew chapter 24. And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yeshua said to them, Do you not see all these things? Truly I say to you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when will these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? And Yeshua answered and said to them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And this good news of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso reads, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight might not be in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say to you, Oh, here's the Messiah, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say to you, Behold, he is in the desert, do not go forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east, and shines even to the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great majesty. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now, learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So likewise, you, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Truly I say to you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knows no man, no, not the angel of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master does come. But know this, that if the sovereign of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken into. Therefore be also ready, for in such an hour as you do not think the Son of Man comes. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master has made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his master, when he comes, shall find so doing. Truly I say to you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My master delays his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the master of that servant shall come in a day when he does not look for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. End of chapter.